Alright, check it, folks. I'm going to answer the hardest question and blow your mind. So the question everybody wants to know, right? Did the universe come from nothing? Alright, check it. So many of those who do not practice any religion and see no merit in traditional God beliefs still find it hard to be full-fledged atheists, right? But although not religious in the usual sense, these non-believers have not yet completely freed themselves from all religious or metaphysical notions, most of which have no rational foundation. They would tell you that they intuitively feel that something must be out there, some power that is responsible for the universe, and the laws that govern it. After all, they ask, how can something come from nothing? One such religious notion is the story of creation. Once upon a time there was nothing, and then miraculously there was something. But is that the only possibility? Why couldn't there always have been something? If there never was a transition from nothing to something, it follows that there was no creation, and therefore no creator, personal or otherwise. Of course, creation ex nihilo, the creation of the universe out of nothing, is a major component of virtually all religions. On the other hand, modern cosmology suggests that the universe was not created, but rather is eternal in time. Theologians, theist authors, and theist debaters have developed several arguments that they maintain prove that the universe can't be eternal, that it had to have a beginning. So I will start with the frequently heard claim that an eternal universe can exist for mathematical reasons. The argument made is that in an infinite universe, it would take an infinite amount of time to reach the present for the beginning. However, this is a strawman argument that exploits the fact that most scientists as well as lay people improperly use the word infinite when they really mean endless or unlimited. An eternal universe is not the same as an infinite universe. Time is the number of ticks on a clock. In the eternal universe, that number is endless, not infinite. Counting backward in time, the eternal universe has no beginning, not a beginning that was an infinite time ago. The time interval from any moment in the past to the present is finite. So an eternal universe is mathematically possible. The second argument for cosmic creation that theologians and Christian apologists have been used for decades now is that the universe and time itself begin with the singularity identified with the Big Bang. This singularity is a point in space-time of unlimited density. This claim is based on a theorem derived from Einstein's general relativity that was published by Stephen Hawking and Roger Penrose in 1970. It has now been over 20 years since Hawking and Penrose admitted that there was no singularity. Their calculation, one wrong as far as it went, had not taken into account quantum mechanics. And you can see page 50 of the Hawkins 1988 bestseller Brief History of Time. I do not know of a single working cosmologist today who says that the universe began with a singularity. Some Christian authors and debaters also refer to other more recent calculations they claim require the universe to have a beginning. To give the shortest possible rebuttal, I would just quote the Caltech cosmologist Sean Carroll, who wrote to me in an email. No result derived on the basis of classical general relativity can be used to derive anything truly fundamental, since classical general relativity isn't right. You need to quantize gravity. So the universe need not have had a beginning. But let's suppose for a moment that it did. That fact alone would not prove it was purposefully created. Another premise must be made to show that. The assumption must be added that everything that begins as a cause, once again this ignores quantum mechanics, in which events commonly occur without a cause. This is the case for the atomic transitions that give us light and the nuclear decays that give us nuclear radiation. They all happen spontaneously without a cause. In short, all attempts to prove that the universe had to have a beginning caused by God fail on several fronts. The third creationist argument, called the anthropic cosmological principle, is made by a whole army of Christian theologians and authors. It is a claim that the universe is fine-tuned for life, in particular human life. Here the story is even more complicated, because several Nobel physicists think such fine-tuning does exist, although they attribute it to natural causes rather than a creator God. I identify with an opposition group of physicists who see no need to invoke the anthropic principle at all. We can offer natural explanations for all the values of all parameters claimed to be fine-tuned. See my book, The Fallacy of Fine-Tuning in Press. The claims that evidence for a cosmic creation can be found in physical observations are based on a gross misunderstanding of basic physics. Several theist authors have clearly lifted out of context the following quotation from Hawkins, A Brief History of Time. If the rate of expansion 1 second after the Big Bang had been smaller by even 1 part in 100,000 million, the universe would have collapsed before it reached the present sign, page 121-22. This is a present example of the incredible fine-tuning of the universe. However, those making this claim ignore Hawkins' explanation 7 pages later for why no fine-tuning was needed. There he describes an inflationary cosmological model in which this universe began with a tiny period of very rapid exponential expansion. While still new in 1988, inflationary cosmology is now well established, Hawking writes. In the inflationary model, the rate of expansion of the universe would automatically become very close to the critical rate determined by the energy density of the universe. This could then explain why the rate of expansion is still so close to the critical rate, while having to assume that the initial rate of expansion of the universe was very carefully chosen, page 128. So the rate of expansion of the universe is not fine-tuning at all. Its value is exactly what it should be. This is only one of the 30 or so parameters that theists claim were fine-tuned by God. Reasonable explanation based on known physics and cosmology can be given for them all. Computer simulations show that some kind of life is possible in universes over a wide range of parameters. The erroneous claims I have discussed here are widely disseminated in Christian literature and appear frequently in debates and discussion on religion and science. They are rarely challenged by scientists who have the necessary technical knowledge required to discern the validity of arguments based on mathematics, physics, or cosmology. Instead, these scientists choose to remain outside the fray. The unwillingness of most scientists to engage in the very war between science and religion is handling victory of religion by default. The column is adapted from an article that appeared in the Huffington Post, where Victor Stenger is now a regular blogger. His 10th book, now in press and scheduled to be available in April 2011, is A Fallacy of Fine-Tuning, How the Universe is Not Designed for Us, Prometheus books. Victor J. Stenger is an emeritus professor of physics and astronomy at the University of Hawaii and visiting philosophy in the University of Colorado. His latest book is A Fallacy of Fine-Tuning, How the Universe is Not Designed for Humanity. His previous books include Not by Design, Physics, and the Consciousness, Quantum, and Timeless Reality, Symmetry, Simplicity, and Multiple Universe. So in short, the universe is not fine-tuned. It may seem to be fine-tuned, but that's all through naturalistic means. And there was no singularity, and the universe could be eternal. And even, as I described, all this has to do with no creator. And see, the problem is when you put the creator in there, it makes it even more complex. It's a simple answer, but it even makes it even more complex. The intelligence makes things even more crazy complex. And that's where it's not even needed, and unnecessary and impossible. Everything's through naturalistic means. You have to really understand the process. If you don't understand the process, to a natural person, they can't think this heavy, this high. But like I said, if you want to find the answers and seek the answers, you'll find out. So it's, like I said, truth can be stranger than fiction. And just if you embrace reality, how amazing everything is, the more you appreciate your understanding that there's no God, but it's okay. You don't have to feel worthless. You just embrace the reality and be like, this is amazing, but we're a species of 10,000 probably, you know. We're not more significant than another species. We just happen to exist. And live your life the best, and that's all there is to it. Of course, see, the Christian apologists are always going to admit the truth, you know. They're going to fit, like I said, they're going to fit what they feel because they want there to be a God. But what's more important, wanting to believe a God or what's actually the truth, you know? I care for the truth. I think a lot of people do care for the truth. More than, you know, obviously, and on YouTube, the atheists always have more likes for, you know, than more likes than dislikes. So this means atheism is very powerful. People want to know the truth. People believe real things instead of fake things. You know, like I said, things pop in and out of existence. Once you have the intelligence up there of a God, it makes it so much more complex, and it throws science out the window. And you know, if God can't make A equals not A, if God can't make 2 + 2 = 5, and so if God can't make, because God's supposed to be omnipotent, can do anything. then this God is bound by the laws. So there's no God. Everything is bound by laws of science. I mean, it would be cool if there was a God, but at least a good God, not other religious books. But hell, it would be cool even if there was a deist God out there. You know, I mean, that would be amazing. But no God exists, and even Hawking said a couple of days ago, you know, he made it clear there's no God this time, because the universe in all time existence started with the Big Bang. You know, what was God doing before there? And God didn't have time to make the universe. So, so remember, if you really want to know the truth, you stick with a scientist, an atheist, because they care for the truth. They said themselves, you know, if there was a God out there, everybody would like to know. Scientists, everybody. That'd be like the most amazing thing of all time, you know. But there's not. We're always looking for the truth. The theists, they're gonna reword things to make it feel that there's a God, you know. They're gonna reword things and just take it on faith. And like I said, I believe the Christian apologists are closeted deists, because they'll throw the science in there, but then they'll just put the resurrection of Jesus as the truth. And we know there's too many complications with the Jesus story, because his own followers said in the book, some say the tomb was open, some say the tomb was closed. If that was witnessed by so many people, it would have been either open or closed, period. You know? There would be no contradictions. And somebody, Richard Carey said now that Jesus probably didn't even exist. So there's like, and not only that, there's like too many religions, too many gods, too many contradictions, too many versions of heavens, too many versions of hell. You know, Mormons believe this kind of Jesus. Some people believe Jesus is God. Some people believe Jesus is not God, just Jesus. Some people believe in the Trinity. If this God existed, it's confusing everybody. It would make it clear, even if the God was not. You can observe it by science or measure it. There either would be one holy book, or it would make it clear, you know, that the God is either the Trinity, or the God's not the Trinity, or God is Jesus, or Jesus is God, or, you know, not confusing everybody, because you got Mormons fighting with Christians. You got Christians fighting with... So, everybody is guessing. You know, their religion is just based on faith. Jews believe in God because it's witnessed by what? I don't know. Like, so many people compared to any other religions. But Jews don't even believe in Jesus because he didn't fulfill the Messianic prophecies. So people are guessing. And their whole thing is, you know, I think these people want to believe because they have fear of hell. I think that's what it kind of boils down to. Even if people want a God to exist, well, their whole doctrine is fear of hell. You know, it's basically the fear of hell. Because even G-Man said, you know, if you don't do this, what this book says, you will go to hell. See? They all have fear of hell. And hell has never been proven. You know? Like I said, too many versions of hell, too many versions of heaven. The bottom line is, if a God existed, it would make clear of which religion, which God it is, and which kind of heaven and which kind of hell. There's just too many. Or not only that, it would just make clear, leave the heaven and hell out. It would actually make clear of